Imagine rulers who own nothing. No house, no family, no bank account, no gold ring, no private dinner, no inheritance to leave behind. They eat communal meals and sleep in shared quarters. Sounds like utopia. It is also one of the most rigidly hierarchical regimes ever proposed. Welcome to Plato's Republic and its strange bargain. How can a society be politically top-down and economically light at the same time? Plato's answer runs through three moves: a founding story, a censored education, and an ascetic elite. Ascetic means self-denying, no property, no luxury. To see how it works, start with the story Plato tells the citizens themselves. He calls it the gennaion pseudos, the noble lie. A deliberate civic fiction told to bind the city together. At the end of Book 3, Plato has Socrates propose this myth. Tell the citizens they are all earthborn siblings, children of the same soil. But when the god fashioned them, he mixed different metals into their souls. Into some, gold, these are fit to rule. Into others, silver. These will be guardians, the warrior class protecting the city. Into the rest, bronze and iron, these will farm, craft, and produce. One story, two payoffs. It creates solidarity, everyone is kin, and it sorts citizens by soul type, not by wealth or lineage. Here's the tension. Plato values truth supremely. His entire philosophy chases it, yet he licenses a founding fiction. Why? Because the myth does real work that raw truth cannot. It produces civic solidarity and matches roles to natures, and the assignment is not frozen. A gold child born to bronze parents rises, a deficient gold child is demoted. Soul type, not bloodline, determines place. This is meritocracy dressed in myth, which is exactly why it unsettles us. Why does Plato reject democratic self-government so fiercely? Look at what he watched. Athens condemned Socrates, his teacher, to death by popular vote. Athens bungled the Peloponnesian War through assembly infighting. Athens collapsed. For Plato, majority rule meant rule by the untrained and the easily swayed. Authority had to rest with a knowledgeable few, people whose souls had been shaped to see what's truly good. But how do you shape such souls? That brings us to education. Plato's guardians supervise poetry, tragedy, and comedy. That sounds heavy-handed until you remember his evidence. Years before Socrates' trial, the comic playwright Aristophanes wrote The Clouds. On stage, he portrayed Socrates as a babbling sophist, suspended in a basket, teaching students to cheat their creditors. The caricature lodged in the Athenian imagination. When Socrates stood trial decades later, the jurors had been primed. Plato watched the comedy help kill his teacher. For him, this was proof. Art is never neutral. Stories shape souls, and souls shape cities. If you let poets depict gods as liars and heroes as cowards, you will get citizens who admire lying and cowardice. Censorship for Plato is not prudishness. It is political hygiene. Here is Plato's logic chain. Good education produces good souls. Good souls produce orderly lives. Orderly lives produce an orderly city. Break any link and faction, stasis, civil strife, tears the city apart. Plato identifies two fires that generate faction. The first is bad education, citizens whose souls are malformed by corrupt stories. The second is extreme wealth inequality. A city split into the rich and the poor is already two cities at war. Eliminate both, and the organic unity of the polis has a chance. Now the strangest move. To extinguish the second fire, Plato strips his ruling class bare. Gold and silver souls, the philosopher rulers and the guardian warriors, own no property. They have no private families. They cannot touch actual gold or silver coin. They receive only subsistence paid for by the producers. The counterintuitive payoff. Because the rulers extract nothing beyond bare necessities, the bronze class, the farmers, craftsmen, merchants, keeps the largest share of what they produce. Economically, the regime is minimal. The rulers are, in material terms, the poorest people in the city. Privilege here means responsibility, not wealth. Call this the ascetic elite. Absolute authority paired with voluntary poverty. It is hierarchy without extraction. At the start of Book 4, Adimantus raises the obvious objection. How can these rulers be happy? No house, no wife, no wealth, no leisure. Socrates answers with an analogy. Imagine painting a statue. Someone complains that you painted the eyes black instead of a beautiful purple. You reply, the point is not to make the eyes gorgeous in isolation, but to make the whole statue beautiful. The city is the same. We do not ask whether the hand is happy or the foot. We ask whether the body is well. Justice and happiness belong to the organic whole, not to any single limb. So Plato fuses two things we rarely see together: rigid political hierarchy and radical economic minimalism. A regime where the rulers serve without owning and the producers produce without being plundered. Held together by a single founding story every citizen shares. Every later experiment, monastic orders, communitarian colonies, meritocratic states, borrows something from this blueprint. And the Republic leaves us with a question we still cannot escape. Can any society hold together without a shared founding story?